Hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbooking and Craft. Just coming on today to show you my drawing process videos. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sketches. You've seen previously on my channel where I do a flip through of my painting drawings. So this is one way that I use when I'm stressed or relaxed or bored or want something to do. All these drawings are done in permanent ink. There's no pencil to start with. There's no erasing. I find drawing this way makes me think about my drawing more. If I tend to use an eraser and that, I tend to procrastinate too much and rub out the lines and rub out the lines, and it just doesn't work for me. So I've been doing this for a couple of years. So what I tend to do is copy other artworks if I'm just wanting to do something and not be sort of creative. So what I did is actually went online and printed out some of Diane Reevely's beautiful new stamps that are being released, and you can sort of see the photocopies off to the side. So this one is from one of her cat releases. There's also some of her bodies. I love her stamps and that, but really can't justify the cost. And I don't know how often I'd use them. And I like to put my own taint on them as well. So I use her drawings as a jumping off point, and then I change them slightly and make them my own. So when you're drawing like this, and if you want me to do a tutorial with not sped up, but sort of a real-time drawing and go through my thought process of how I draw like this, let me know, and I can certainly put a video together. So this has been sped up about 4 times. I don't draw this fast, and I stop and pause a bit because I'm actually watching TV when I'm doing this. So I do like to shade these in black and white, and then what I do with these ones is I'll actually go and photocopy them because I like to keep the original, and I'll either send them out as happy mail, I will use them in art journal pages. This is about my 4th sketchbook now, and each of the sketchbooks have, I believe, about 60 pages, so each of them have 60 odd sketches. So they're just a nice white cartridge paper drawing book. This one's actually a brand Quill in Australia, but the other ones I've used actually are just Micador brand, so they're only cheap $3 or $4 sketch pads. So this cat's nearly finished, so putting the finishing touches on. Tonight I'm actually using, or today, whenever you're watching this, I'm actually using 2 different pens. One's a Pitt pen brush pen, which is a thicker pen, which is what I'm doing all the shadowing with, and the one I'm doing all the fine line drawing with is actually a Pitt pen, but it's a fine liner. I have a few favourite pens to work with when I'm drawing like this, so the Pitt pens I really like. So this one is, I'm copying that window girl behind a window, and sometimes my drawings turn out beautifully, sometimes I just need to change them. This is one I wasn't particularly happy with, but by the end I got happy with it because I kept changing it. Basically the proportion of the eye, the second eye just looked wrong. So that eye looked fine, the first one I did, but this second eye I put it in a minute just looked so wrong. So this is a great way if you believe you can't draw or can't think of anything to draw. There's huge amounts of pictures on the internet you can just download and use them as a reference point and then draw from them. I've done a lot of art in my life, and even from a young age, even from probably 8 or 9 years old, I've actually been taking cartoon colouring books and redrawing them as my own, as opposed to colouring. I was never a child that actually coloured in, past about the age where I could actually learn to draw myself. So probably from about age 8 or 9, I really struggled to colour in because it's just not as creative as my brain needs. This is more creative for me. So the big rage with the adult colouring books just doesn't get me. I do purchase a few of them, and I have purchased a few of them basically to redraw the images from, and there's a really lovely little one I picked up a couple of years ago, and I've not seen a nicer one since. I'll show it to you in another video when I do some drawings from it. It's just got really whimsical characters. So I'm not happy with that eye. It looks wrong. It's in the wrong place. So I will fix that in a minute. The great thing about doing these black and white, and you can see that the eye is seriously in the wrong spot. But bear with me, it does get better. I change it and make it my own, and this is one of my favourite drawings so far. So you'll hopefully be seeing a lot more of these drawings in my journals and upcoming works and things. and I'll also be sharing some in Happy Mail as well. So shading in the hair, that wasn't on the original drawing, but I decided that the eye was wrong, so I wanted to shade in the hair with sort of a zebra pattern. I love zentangling and filling things with patterns and doing really detailed work in these little books. So the books are about a half an A4 sheet of paper, so they're probably about, I don't know, 6 inches wide by 26 by 8 inches, probably the book size. So they're a nice handy size to carry around, and often I carry this around and sit there and sketch, or sit there and draw. When I'm out and about waiting for Alexis to be picked up, waiting at school, I pull my book out and have a go. I've drawn on trains as well, but that's a bit more funny because the lines aren't very straight. So as I said, this is probably my 4th book that I'm filling up as these reference black sketches, and I've done flip throughs of my first 3 on the website. If I remember, I will link them below. So just doing a diagonal stripe. So as you can sort of see the reference picture in the background that I'm copying, but I've actually gone away from copying it now. I use some of the details. Sometimes I take 2 or 3 pictures and actually join them together and use them in my own way. So I love this striking style of black and white, and I'm hoping to be able to colour some of these in with either watercolours or paints. These ones are done with a permanent pen, so I could go over and watercolour these, but I do like to keep my originals. So as you can see, I've gone over that second eye and just added a bit more hair, and I love it a bit better. You can sort of see the eye sneaking behind. I'd actually finish with that one, on to the next one. So this one's another, what order I've put them in, yeah, another face one. So I like to practice some of my faces. I like Diane Reevely's stylized faces. I did a lot of drawing in my youth, and I did life drawing, and I did portraits, and I'm more of a cartoon drawer than a realistic drawer. Yes, I can sit there and sketch a face and do all the shading and all that because I've been taught how to do all that, but I much enjoy these stylized and more cartoonish style faces. So I'm not real happy with the bottom of the face with this one, with the shape of it, but it still works. And what I can do is when I photocopy them, if I want to reshape the face, I can just trim it off as well. It's not that bad. Her eyebrows are a bit disproportionate. She looks a bit angry in this shot actually, but that's okay. If I do want to fix that down the track, all I do is photocopy 2 pages and then cut out of one side what I want to stick on the other side and just fix it up that way. I love the striking black and white once I go in and fill in some of the solid colour areas. It makes the drawing pop and it makes it look just beautiful. And these look nice on scrap. These look nice on art journal pages, and that even if they're uncoloured. I used one the other day. A video will be coming up soon of one I worked on for ages. So some days I sit there and put lots of detail in them, some days it's just quick sketches. So I'm out of view. I'm playing with my camera setup, and unfortunately when I draw I do need to have the book fairly close to myself to be able to do the details, but I am trying to get a better camera angle. As you can see, I do turn the book around a lot to do different things. I don't always keep it in the upright position. It just makes it easy to do certain things. Oh, there we go, pushing it back up because I've realised I'm out of frame. I'm also doing this watching telly, so we're doing the next one here. As you can see, the lighting has changed, so I'm experimenting. The lighting is a lot more bright and white, so I'm actually experimenting with some different lighting. This one's another cat. This one I turned the head a bit too far. I don't know what I was thinking, but just thinking before I put each element down on the paper, like the head and then the ears, proportionately to the page so I can fit the whole cat on. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way and I run out of room for feet or I run out of room for a head. It just happens when you're drawing in pure pen. So I encourage you all, and if you do try to draw in pure pen and do some sketches like this, even copying other people's images, and I don't mind if you sit there and copy any of my coloured drawings, especially with my flip-throughs. If you find something you like, pause the video and have a go at copying it. I think copying another artist is great gratification and great acknowledgement of that artist. So this one turned out a little different. I like the body of this one a bit better, but I like the head of the other one, so when I go to use them I might chop up their body and their head. Not really a cat person, but I do love the cats that she's put out in these stamps. So this one's taken a while to colour in because I've done all checked pieces. So bear with me a minute. So I particularly like this one. I like the contrast between, at the moment I'm doing really solid black check squares, and then I go back in with my fine texture and I do almost a scribble. So it's black, but it's more of a half-tone black than a solid black, and it really complements the drawing. And it sort of adds, even though it's black and white, it adds sort of a half-tone of grey. So I'm doing that now, just scribbling, not completely covering in all the squares, but covering them in enough that there's another shade. So it brings another tone into the drawing that it doesn't have previously just with the black and the white, which I do that in a lot of my drawings. I will do squares or circles and do them in the same style. I just get my hand on the desk. You'll see with the next one I start in a minute, I only do it black and white, and I feel it's just missing something. So we're going to go into that one in a minute. Here we go. So this one's another face. So, as I said previously, if you do want me to do a real-time talking tutorial on my mindset, and not my mindset, but my thinking and the way I go about drawing like this without the ability to erase things, and sort of teach you a bit more about the process of drawing this way, let me know in the comments below, and I'll put together some real-time talking tutorials and slow it down a bit. It's basically all about thinking of what to draw first, and then picking a focal point on an image and starting with that, and then building everything around it. And the first piece you put on the paper is actually going to do your proportions. And once you've got your basics, so that's my basic sketch there at the moment, and then it's just a matter of filling in all the patterns and the details. I'm not sure whether I'm happy with this face. I don't mind the eyes and the glasses. Haven't put a nose on this one yet. I really struggle to do noses, even touching noses. I'm getting quite good at lips and getting quite okay at eyes, but the nose is still bothering me. The image I was copying didn't actually have a nose, so I'm wondering, just trying to find the image I copied. Oh, that one. Okay, looking for the big image and it's really a small image. So that one doesn't have a nose on it either. So I like this one. It's got a bit of an Egyptian style girl, and the original image I copied from actually had a telephone on her head, which I didn't like, so I just did her as a full image. But when I go to use her in my art journal, I will give her a body. See there, I tried to split the lips and do a bit of fancy things, and then I didn't like it, so I just coloured it in. And so I sit there and colour each of the striped lines. So I'll just leave you with me colouring the rest, because there's not much more to say. If you do like this style of video, let me know by giving it a like and subscribing to my channel if you want to see more, and definitely let me know if you want a talk-through tutorial on my sort of process of doing this line drawing and how I go about it and what goes through my mind when I do it. So I'll just leave you now with the last little bit that I'm just colouring in, basically just adding all the lines to her hair, and then I do go and outline the entire picture in the darker pen just to make it pop a bit more. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.